Hey, how is everyone doing? That sounded weird. How is everyone doing? How come that sounded wrong? English! Anyway, I am Kelsey, in case you don't know me, but I'm pretty sure most of you guys know me. Especially because I did not make this stream link as soon as I should have. You might be asking, why are you wearing a sweatshirt in freaking June? Well, I'm cold as hell because I just drank a whole thing of Kool-Aid. It's gone. See, there was blue Kool-Aid in here and it had ice in it. Now I'm freezing. It's very, very cold now. Anyway, we're here to talk about Midsommar, and I'm very excited. I love this movie. It is such an epic folk horror masterpiece. It's visually stunning. There's so many things we can discuss. And first and foremost, though, I would love to know what everyone gives it as a rating. I'm pretty sure most people here probably really like it. I would give it a 5 out of 5. I think it's a really wonderful, well-made movie. I think there's a lot of symbolism in it. And I think there's a lot of foreshadowing, too, which I love, especially like with a lot of the things in the background. There's a lot of foreshadowing, just like items in the background that you see, which is great, which is awesome. Hi, Melissa. It's great to see you. I've just got to say this to get it out of the way. I love Midsommar, but this movie doesn't exist if The Wicker Man, which is a favorite of Bobby's, didn't come before it. Not a bad thing, just an observation. And I do think that is a fair observation, Bobby. So I don't think you're wrong in saying that, of course. I love a good folk horror story, but I haven't read like a ton of them, or even watched a ton of them. So I'm saying folk horror. I love it in books and I love it in movies. In terms of books, I love Harvest Home. That is such a great film. Not a film. Why am I mixing up film and books? What's wrong with me? Harvest Home is such a great book, but there is a film, like a made-for-TV adaptation, which there's such bad quality of it. I think I found a YouTube stream of it somewhere, or a video of it somewhere, but I think it was such bad quality that I didn't watch it. I was like, F this, it's too bad of quality. So yeah, I've never seen the adaptation that I think exists of Harvest Home, but the book itself is amazing. And there's a lot of other, examples, The Wicker Man being another one when we talk about movies and such. I need this chat. Oh, stop it. I love you. I miss you. It's been a long time, it feels like, even though I know it's probably just been a week, but it feels like longer in terms of the last time I did anything live or whatever. I have been releasing videos, which is a big deal because it's been hard to film and edit and to keep that motivation up still, but I'm still proud for doing it. So thank you for saying that, Cameron. I love you. That's so sweet. I appreciate you. That's so nice. Hello! Sorry, my lips all messed up. Yo, 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 yo! And in case ever any tongue twister, this is so professional. I'm so sorry. If anyone's wondering what my sweatshirt is, it's Sami Zayn, the wrestler. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. Anyway, just wanted to, since I mentioned that I'm wearing a random ass sweatshirt in June, I might as well say what's on it before we get started and really dive deep into our chat. I am so glad we've got the MVP here, aka my friend Jen over at the channel Literary Love 123. I did that perfect. Anyway, I just can't wait to see what she has to say. Jen, I'm so glad you're here. I should have asked you to come on live with me. That would have been good, but I just didn't even think about it. I rewatched Midsommar for the 12th time today in preparation for the discussion. I'm obsessed with this movie. Oh my god, I meant to wear, I have like this little flower crown. Wait. Okay, I'm gonna go get it. I know this is dumb. Please let me go get it. I'll be like back. Oh my god, I didn't even know. Look at what my thing is. Okay, I'll be right back. Hold on. Oh my gosh, sorry. Oh my god, chaos. Anyway, there's my little flower crown. It's not as epic as the one in the movie, but anyway, I had to freaking. It was around where I keep all these headbands on this thing, and like everything fell, and I was like, well, it's worth it. Is it? I don't know. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here and you watched or rewatched the movie. Love this movie. It's been a bit since I've seen it, but I saw it twice in the theater and a few times afterward. This was my second time seeing it when I watched it last night for preparation for today's chat. So I didn't watch the director's cut though, and I wish I had. I will next time, but I should have done it for the discussion. I just didn't even realize. I just didn't even realize. It's a 5 for me too. A 5 out of 5 for me. I love this movie and it freaking wrecks me. It did make me feel really melancholy when I was done watching it last night. I was like, oh, I feel melancholy. Jeez. But I really am excited because there was a couple of things that I definitely didn't catch the first time that I did catch yesterday. Just like I kind of alluded to in the open, a little bit of foreshadowing and some imagery in the background. Like even in Danny's apartment, you can kind of see some of the decor, almost hints at where we'll be going, including like this like bear painting or whatever, or artwork that's in her apartment. First watch was like a 3.5, but the second was the extended cut, and it made it a 5-star. It's been a 5-star since, but it wasn't upon first watch. Hi, so excited to be back for another one of these. I love talking with y'all about Donnie Darko, and Midsommar is one of my favorites. 4.5 out of 5 for me. 5 for Christine. Freaking amazing movie. Totally agree with you, Bobby. Love both movies. Huge folk horror fan here. I've been loving all the new videos. I'm so glad. Yeah, you guys, if you didn't know, we've got a lot of events coming up that are both movie and book related that I'm hosting or co-hosting in especially July. July is going to be a packed month for me. So July, I'm co-hosting Giallo July, created by the wonderful Alex the Bookubus. And Giallo is a term more associated with movies and film nowadays, but originally it was associated with books, Italian mystery and crime thrillers, basically, which a lot of them were just American books republished, in Italian and rebranded with yellow covers. So the term giallo was actually first associated with books, but that's neither here nor there. But if you're interested in either the film part of that or the book part or both, we're doing a readathon, watchathon, all based around giallo. And that's all month long in July. And then my most recent thing, which is not horror related, which is kind of random, but also kind of amazing, we're doing a Pedro Pascal-a-thon, and Jen from Literary Love 123 and my great friend Crystal over at the channel Fiber Artsy and I are co-hosting that, and that's just 1 week at the end of July from the 27th to the 2nd. And it is also an event that encompasses reading and watching and activities, so you can do a whole bunch of stuff. Like you can watch a whole bunch of Pedro Pascal movies, watch a whole bunch of like random videos of him, like his SNL sketches, yada yada. But yeah, there's a reading part to it too. So lots of options, but that's my big things going on for the next couple of weeks. And I would love it if you guys wanted to participate, if any of that sounds interesting or appealing to you. Ooh, fresh off weightlifting and excited to talk about cults. Yes, we got Kristen here. Thank you so much for being here. Weightlifting. Pumping iron over there. Midsommar, definitely a 5 out of 5. It's the rare horror. I am the rare horror fan who didn't love Hereditary, so I was pleasantly surprised. And I'm actually with you, Bobby. I like Hereditary, but only saw it once in the theater, and I wasn't absolutely in love with it. I mean, it was shocking and memorable, but I really do need to rewatch it and see if like it's changed how I felt about it then versus if I were to watch it again. So yeah, I didn't absolutely adore it like everyone else does. So you and me have that in common, Bobby. You are not alone. How would Sami Zayn do in this cult? Could a wrestler survive, or would he be suplexed into a bear costume? I think Sami Zayn would have been like Danny. Like he would have been the one to survive the group. He would be the one who would come out okay on the other. Well, Danny's not necessarily okay at the end, but Sami Zayn is so likable and zany and weird. No pun intended, Sami Zayn, zany. He's very zany person, but he's also a very good person and a very like loving person. I just think that there'd be no way he'd be killed. or sacrificed. There'd be no way. Now, would he like kind of go along with what the cult was doing? Probably not. But yeah, Sami Zayn is great. He is just one of my favorite, not only wrestlers but people. I just really like him. I think he's a good role model. Yes, I'm sorry I went to go get it, but I think it's worth it because I never wear this ever. This is my only excuse, and I couldn't waste it. I can't believe I forgot it before I went live. Drinking some nice spring fruit honey / wine, and it's a shame because I did have my phone background like as a like kind of spring but spooky background, but recently I changed it to more of a summer spooky background, so it doesn't really match our Midsommar vibes. But I will show you guys this before we really dive deep. Another thing I have to grab. Hold on, I'm getting it off the wall here. Oh my gosh, please. Okay. I didn't want to drop it. All right. This is one of my favorite things, my favorite posters that I own. It is a Goosebumps kind of knockoff or fake Goosebumps cover poster, and it makes it look like, you know, Midsommar is a Goosebumps story, a Midsommar scream. Isn't this incredible? It's one of my favorite posters I own. I love this. So I've had this up in my room for about a month. So I was like, I have to time this right this year, because last year I think I might have had it up just for like 2 weeks before I had to change it for something else. But once this chat is over, I'll be switching out my decor to more summer spooky versus spring spooky, which is what's currently up right now. You guys, most of you guys know me, so I'll do anything to be thematic. Whatever. Any excuse. It doesn't take much. I love the Care Bear graphic. That's hilarious. Yeah, I forgot who shared it. Was it Christine? Was that you who shared that Care Bear graphic? On the Discord, but I saved it and I was like, I'm gonna freaking use this for a whole bunch of things. I loved it. It's like a Midsommar Care Bear spoof, or, you know, combination. Love it. Yes, it's little blue flowers. Man, this crown is so old. I'm sure I got it from like Claire's or something. Who even knows where I got this, but I can tell you that I've never really worn it like actually out. That's one of my bad habits, is like not buying the more, I guess, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but, you know, this is kind of not a usual piece that you'd wear. Like, people might look at you, you know, with a second glance. Kind of more, I wouldn't say it's outrageous. This is not outrageous, but it's just a different kind of piece, like fashion statement or whatever. And I buy pieces like that sometimes, but I never end up wearing them and they go to waste. It sucks. It's interesting you say that. I preferred Hereditary over Midsommar until my last couple of rewatches of both. Now I prefer Midsommar, but I love both. That is interesting, Jen. I would have never guessed that, because it seems like you have a real big passion for Midsommar. Thank you. We crown you May Queen. So who am I going to sacrifice? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Oh gosh. Oh geez. I don't want to sacrifice anybody. I love how the artwork reveals everything that will happen. Yeah, there are some tapestries that literally give it all away in the movie in the background. And I kind of like that, because it's not hiding what it is. And I think there's just this great feeling of unease and this great looming sense of dread throughout the entire film. You know, it starts off with Dani obviously struggling, you know, something's not right with her family, then the reveal of her family's death, and then it just gets worse and worse from there. There's just this weird unease throughout the whole thing. And I feel like as soon as you're in their like little commune, you know something's up. You know, like it's not right away. So I just like how it's not trying to hide what it is. And the only people who are really unaware that shit's going to go down are the characters, which I love. I love that. Crystal! I do love this movie too. I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to rewatch. I did kind of post the link a little bit late, and I feel bad about that. Last minute as per usual. Off topic, but if you haven't seen the community table read they did over lockdown, it's got your boy Pedro. I heard. I think you're the one who did you comment that on one of my videos recently, Bobby? I think you did. He's very funny in it. Highly recommend. I will watch it because I like Community. So I will watch it. And I love Pedro. All the love for Pedro. That sounds great, and yes, excited for both events. Gonna watch so many Giallos and Pedros, and those words go together so great. And I know technically it's Gialli, but I never say that on accident. I always say Giallos. Everyone's probably like, she's so uneducated. I'm sorry. I like saying Giallos. That's amazing. I noticed that poster when I was watching your ASMR last night. It is so good. I love it so freaking much. I also have a Goosebumps similar one that has like Michael Myers on it, but I like this one even better for some reason. And I just love how they perfectly match. Like this color that they picked for the fake cover is so perfect. I don't know. This one's just so good. And it's just so seasonal too. I think I've got 3 Goosebump knockoffs. I know I've got an Art the Clown one, this one, and a Halloween one. I may have more, but those 3 I know I have. I have so many posters that I don't even remember all that I own, which is ridiculous. I saw that poster in your latest video, and holy shit, I screamed when I saw it. I love it so much. I've got to look up. It's a website I bought it from. Does it say on here? It's signed, but I forgot the website name, but he does a few of these, and I love them. I got to see if he's made any new ones. I'm imagining Midsommar being a Goosebumps episode and having all those naked old people. Oh my god, when I first saw it, for some reason, I had like this vivid memory of there being like 40 people naked around the, freaking Christian and that girl when they're doing stuff together. I thought it was like 40 people, but it's really only like 15 or 20 people at most. It might be even less naked people, but I just remember the first time watching it, I'm like, holy shit, all these freaking naked people watching like all around. But oh my gosh, that part actually disturbed me the most the first time around. Like, oh no, people just diving off a cliff, that's fine. Naked people in a circle watching other people do it? No, that's beyond what I can handle, apparently. Hold on, I lost my place. It goes without, saying really that there'll be spoilers, but just in case anyone comes in late, I want everyone to know we're doing spoilers. Florence Pugh is so talented. Agree. I equally love Hereditary and Midsommar. To me, they seem like 2 sides of the same thematic coin. Grief, questions of will versus, I always say this wrong, machination? Blah, blah, blah. Pretend I'm smart for 5 seconds. Just pretend like you didn't hear me, not know. It was Aaron who shared the Care Bear. Aaron always says the coolest shit. I just checked the Discord. Thank you for checking. We want to give props where props are due. I agree that they're in conversation with one another. That makes me want to rewatch Hereditary a little bit more, because I do know that obviously grief is a huge part of Hereditary, and grief is a huge part of Midsommar. Guys, do you have a favorite scene from Midsommar? Do you have not only a favorite scene, but maybe a favorite line, a favorite foreshadowing element that foreshadows what is to come? Are there things that you noticed this last time you watched that you didn't notice before? What do you think some of the symbolism is, etc.? Let's start going into it, guys. I want to hear your thoughts, your observations, your analysis. Obviously, it's not only about grief, where Danny is dealing with the loss of her family, but it's also about a very, very toxic relationship. And it's just very clear from the very beginning that Danny is not getting what she needs, like the emotional support and care from Christian that she really deserves and needs. And it also is clear that she's afraid to truly be herself in front of him, like questioning, is she relying on him too much? And, frequently after, kind of letting go, or how do you say it? After kind of falling apart and breaking down the first night it happened, the first night she discovered her family, died. After that, though, every time she cries, she runs away to cry or get upset, almost like she doesn't want to do it in front of Christian. She doesn't want to mess with Christian's time. She doesn't want to rely on Christian. She doesn't want Christian to see her upset. So yes, she showed all the emotion that first night and he held her, but he also looked very uncomfortable while holding her. But fast forward to a little bit later, Every other time she gets upset, she has to run away and be alone to experience being upset. Like, she does not feel comfortable clearly doing it in front of Christian. We'll sacrifice the trolls. Hell yeah. There is never a shortage of men to sacrifice. Oh yeah, there are a lot we could sacrifice out there. One aspect that really stood out to me when I watched today was the contrast between the winter, isolation, cold, detachment, death, as the film opens and Danny is in America versus the summer. Yeah, and it's like also a thing that I did not notice at all the first time, but it's a very obvious tactic. But I loved it. As soon as they're off the plane, they're driving to the first stop on the way to the commune. The camera, like, flips upside down and you're seeing the car traveling from like an upside down perspective, and to me it's just kind of a key that like nothing's going to be the same after this. Like, the perspective is going to be like, put on its head after this. Nothing's going to ever be normal again for Danny, or what she considered normal before. Like, big changes, big things are coming. I feel like that really big camera move of it going upside down, and it stays like that for a good while. I feel like that was a huge piece of symbolism, at least in my opinion. Once they're in Sweden with the Harga, warmth, family, community, connection, rebirth. Exactly. And even though Danny was disturbed by the things she was seeing and she didn't feel comfortable and she did want to leave, especially after the mountain fiasco, if you compared her reaction to Christian's reaction, her reaction was way more extreme and upset because it really disturbed her. Obviously, that totally makes sense. Not only was it horrifying to witness, I'm sure, but also on top of that, she's already dealing with a lot of things related to death. She wouldn't necessarily have needed to see something like that right then, or maybe obviously ever. No one really needs to see something like that, but her especially shouldn't have seen that right then. But it's funny how Danny, even though she feels uncomfortable, is still really respectful the entire time and very nice and polite to the Harga. And I feel like that is completely different from how everyone else in the friend group acts, So I just think she had like this respect, and you could almost tell that she jived with them right away. And there's other things I noticed too. So the older man, when they finally get to the commune, there's this older man and he comes up and he says hi to, what's his name, Pele? Is that his name? Anyway, he comes to say hi to Pele and meet the American friends he's brought. When he introduces them all, the old man looks directly at Danny and says, "We're so happy to have you." And he looks right at her. And he kind of looks off right after that to other people, but then his main focus is to her. Almost like, is this a little bit of foreshadowing that he's kind of like focusing on her, that there's some kind of feeling or intuition that they have that she is going to be special for them and going to connect with them more than anybody else in the group? I don't know. I love that Midsommar is truly unsettling, but it is a horror movie that is bathed in light, like other great folk horror. It doesn't rely on a fear of the dark and the night. Yeah, I love these kinds of movies, and even when books do it too. Like, for instance, this reminds me a little bit of Di Viola. I never know how to say that book title right, but if you guys have heard of that book, it's like a gothic haunted story, but it's set in a Italian villa. And to me, when you think Italian villa, you think sun, bright, warm. You don't think like dark, spooky, like a traditional haunted house. So that's another thing that is great about folk horror, is usually it does take place in like, summer, fall, like spring, in those brighter months, not like a winter dark and dreary atmosphere. I like that. I like that a lot. I convinced my best friend to go watch Midsommar. To go watch Midsommar at the theater with me. After it was over, she looked at me and said, "What the hell did you just make me watch?" I'm guessing she said that in like I'm affected and I'm messed up kind of way. Totally agree, Jen. And that goes with the color symbolism too. The entire beginning of the movie in America is so dark and the only color pops are yellow. And then it's like full on bright, like in your face, really vivid, rich colors. Yeah, it's almost like the movie goes from monochrome to technicolor. You know what I mean? Symbolically, not literally, of course, in terms of they didn't use technicolor to freaking film the movie. My favorite scene is the end. Danny's smile. So much is happening in that moment. I'm glad you mentioned the smile, Jen. What do you think the smile symbolizes? Do you think it symbolizes she's finally at peace because she's found her family, like she finally feels accepted? Do you think she's smiling because she's truly lost it? Do you think she's smiling because she's finally let go of her past? So all the trauma from her family, Christian, as he's burning in the background. What do you think the smile is in relation to exactly? Or do you think it could be a combination of all? No wrong answers, guys. I just want to hear your opinions. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer. In Sweden, the colors are obviously more white, with pops of specifically yellow, red, and blue that increase throughout, along with the other colors here and there. My favorite scene is when she is tripping and grass is coming out of her hands and feet. I like that too. And also when she runs to I guess it's an outhouse, or I don't really know if it was an official outhouse. It did have a sink. But when she flees to that building with the sink, she looks in the mirror and sees, I actually didn't know what she had saw. I thought it was like a figure of a man. But I read it's actually, and I saw a still of it, it's the image of her sister with the pipe, the hose connected to the mouth. And I was like, holy cow, that is creepy. Oh my gosh. I've always felt that way, that Midsommar and Hereditary kind of go together, even though they feel so opposite visually. Yeah, like Hereditary is very dark color-wise and not, colorful like Midsommar at all. I think the midnight sun is a really interesting element in the movie. Not only the disorienting effect, but the way bright, beautiful light is hiding the underlying darkness. That is such a great observation. Totally, totally love that and agree. My favorite scene is the beginning where the family is revealed to be dead. It was so overwhelming to the senses and deeply sad. It's awful. I love it. I do think it is such a great shot visually when you go from the parents and then that whole scene with the firefighters coming in the house, they see the parents and then like it pans where you could see the hose running down the hall and you see this image of this person sitting on the floor, and as you get closer, the horrific face with the hose taped to the mouth, and then above we see the email window open. Oh, it's heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. I think I love the scene where she's screaming and then the girls are screaming with her. After she just sees Christian officially cheating on her, I kind of love how, like, if you've ever been that upset, like, you don't want to, like, stay still, so she's, like, laying down, and she's getting up, and then she's, like, rocking and, like, screaming and crying. But, like, the most heartwarming part, you could see finally she felt like she was being heard, or maybe that, like, her grief was being shared or understood, because that's the whole appeal, at least for someone like Danny going through something that is so isolating, where she lost a family. That is something that is so appealing about the Hargas, is that, they feel each other's emotions. They are kind of all connected. But again, it's dangerous in the long run because it's a cult and it's extreme. For me, I love how this movie feels like it's about ableism, where the relationship in the cult is all about people being used as an object. The cult only values you if you're a provider. That is very true. That is very true. So, like, the way I'm discussing it is making the cult sound like so glamorized, oh, look how great, they're such a great community. It's not that at all. And it kind of shows you how messed up Danny's life is, that she could smile at the end of all of that. But I think that's what makes it so glorious in a way, and so haunting of a film, is that Danny is now in this weird, messed up place with this really messed up society. And I say messed up because, I mean, you can say, yeah, the old people jump off the mountain and they do that willingly. But you can go a step further and say, well, they're killing other people who are not, going willingly. So clearly they're cool with murder, which is not a good thing. So yeah, they're messed up, and it's just crazy how we go from Danny really being disturbed by it to embracing it with that smile at the end. My favorite scene is the May Queen dance and the table scene that follows. I do love that. And also, I didn't notice the first time that the flower on her head, like she's still tripping, and obviously Christian is also tripping, and like the flower on her crown is like breathing, and there's different things in the background like moving. So I didn't realize those little details the first time. Favorite lines, Pele to Danny, does Christian make you feel held? Does he feel like home? On the surface, how romantic and loving. In context, the cult tactics of manipulation and de-individuation. Yes, 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 exactly. And a thing about Pele that I want to address is he's trying to use his past to connect with Danny further and to be like, I understand you, I understand you. You know, we are we have the same experience. He says, my parents burned in a fire. And it makes me wonder because the way he describes the details, I mean, we don't get a lot of detail about what he's talking about with his parents, but it sounded like he was already in the community when his parents died, because he said something like, this is paraphrasing, but he basically said he didn't have time to feel alone because he had this family around him already, this makeshift family. At least that's what I gathered. Tell me if I'm remembering this wrong. But my thing is, did they willingly sacrifice themselves to be burned? Just like the two willing members at the end who end up screaming, because it's not easy to be burned alive. They end up screaming, and I don't know if in that moment they're regretting it or what. I'd love to know you guys' 2 cents. Do you think the 2 volunteers at the end who are in the burning building alive, do you think they regret it in that moment? Especially, you know, the guy's looking over, the other guy is having a neutral face at first, and then his legs are on fire and he's screaming in agony. So I'm wondering then, like, he must be regretting this at this point right now. But this makes me wonder, did Pele's parents sacrifice themselves willingly? And if so, that's kind of messed up since they were leaving a son behind so young. Or were they chosen somehow? But I think it would have been a coincidence if they were both chosen. That's what makes me think they both volunteered. And it was just very specific for him to be like, they burned. I don't know. Let me know if I'm remembering it wrong, or maybe I'm forgetting details about that little snippet where he talks to Danny about that. Especially with the elderly people being sacrificed and one openly disabled person being treated completely as an other. Oh yeah, that part too. Oh yeah, I forgot about that a little bit. But yeah, that part, again, basically valuing providers. But I think they do have their reasoning, quote, for, you know, the elders essentially having to sacrifice themselves, basically about, you know, who wants to age without grace and who wants to get sick and, you know, be placed in a home. Isn't it better to go out willingly and, you know, give yourself to the greater good? But again, that's like basically the cult using them for their own means, for their personal, you know, well, communal gain, I guess, not personal gain. Hello, Mike. I love the cathartic screaming, crying scene. Me too. Me too. I felt that as well. I loved that so much because it's very powerful. And like in that moment, I feel like if you were Danny, finally feeling held, again, coming back to like his Pele's conversation with Danny, I feel like in that moment she's literally being held, but also emotionally being held, because they are sitting there experiencing the emotions with her, like mimicking, mirroring the emotions with her. And I feel like if you were Danny and had such a tough time and you finally feel like, you know, oh my God, they are embracing me, they're not freaked out by me, they're not running from me, they're not seeming like they don't want to be around me, they're literally experiencing this with me. I could almost see how she could fall under the spell of the cult right then and there, because of everything she went through, because of finally feeling that positive, being seen, being held feeling. And I don't know, that part's powerful. It's really, really powerful. I associate that upside down angle shot so heavily with Ari Aster / A24. The same shot is used in Hereditary and other movies of his. I really do like that upside down angle shot a lot. I agree with Cameron. That opening scene is so freaking chilling. It really is. The upside down camera work, totally agree. Even when he's holding her in this scene, he's disconnected. Like he's holding her, but literally still facing away from her. And his eyes are so distant, like he's not emotionally there at all. He is literally just physically there, and he doesn't even want to be. So he physically doesn't even look like he wants to be there because he's holding her, like, but looking off, like you said. But yeah, his eyes are so distant. So really, you could just tell Christian is not really in it completely. He doesn't really support her. I find the way the scene is filmed in such a way, oh yeah, this the mountain scene is filmed in such a way that it makes it feel very real and shocking, well done, in the sense that it hit me. Like, I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, oh F. Especially they kept showing the close up of the faces. I was like, oh my god. That one woman's face. Christian is so reluctant about going to see Danny after the deaths of her family. He is walking so slowly. He totally doesn't want to be there. Big contrast to the women of the Harga getting down, like literally, like they won't let go of Danny. Like she tries to almost get away from them. Like you could argue she just can't stay in one spot because she's so upset, because that is how, like if you're that upset, that's kind of how it is sometimes. But I think a big part of it too was like, she felt weird them being around her, so she tries to move to the floor, but they go with her. They wouldn't let her go. But I think in a way, like eventually Danny likes that and embraces that clearly when she's screaming in the other girl's face and the other girl is screaming back. I kind of love that. But yes, big contrast because they are not frightened by her emotion. They are not, afraid of it. Well, that's the same thing. They're not, anti it. They're not going to make her feel like she can't feel anything. I know, yes. Getting down with her on the floor. Yes. I feel like this is a big general sentiment, but very few characters in movies have made me as mad as Christian has. I was cussing him out when I watched it with my friend. I mean, the fact that he forgets her birthday, there's a whole bunch of reasons, but he forgets her birthday. He's terrible. I don't like him at all. Danny has been conditioned that she has no right to take up any space and is hyper conscious of being polite, being agreeable, never causing problems, where the men are all fundamentally entitled. Yeah, like you can see that too, where at first she doesn't want to take the tea. She doesn't want to take the drugs when they first get there. And of course, Mark, who's a little bitch, pardon my French. Mark is all like, oh, they were going to come up at different times. Ugh. And then she just agrees to do it because she knows it's going to, cause waves if she doesn't. But again, she didn't feel comfortable. And so she's literally doing something she's not comfortable with just because she's trying to be agreeable because of her conditioning. Totally agree. Even Danny's clothing changes in America at first with the Harga. And at first with the Harga, she wears darker or neutral colors. And with the Harga later, she wears bright colors, white and flowers. Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about her clothes. That is a great observation, Jen. I feel like the smile was one of acceptance. She spent so much time to isolate herself and people please with her relationship and going unheard for a long time. And in that moment, or in that period of her life, the gaslighting boyfriend is burning away. But like Sharky, I think it's truly disturbing because she's clearly not in a great place in a cult either. Let me go back up real fast. I feel like to me, Danny's smile is both a moment of absolute catharsis and vindication, but it's also disturbed and disturbing because ultimately she's just been absorbed by another predatory group. That is very true. And that almost makes it when I first, even the first, both times, I guess, I felt like it was like, yeah, he got what he deserved and she got her revenge. But when you look at it that way, like she's just fallen victim to another predatory group. Like she went from one kind of toxic relationship to, in a way, another, but with a whole community. That makes it a sad ending. Even more sad than disturbing. I think the interesting thing about the movie is that really the cult sees how vulnerable she is and how fragile the relationship is. So they use it to break her down completely to make her theirs. Yeah, it's like just another form of manipulation. And that is kind of scary. So, although Danny thinks she's found a new home, it might not be for the best. I also find it unsettling but interesting the depiction of SA against Christian. It is a visceral scene and sparks discussion about consent, though to me it's clear he can't consent and is assaulted. Well, and then there's that one part where the old lady pushes his butt into the girl. Like, oh my god, please don't. It's so disturbing. To me, Danny's smile reveals her moment of catharsis. Really, the boyfriend didn't cheat on her. They drugged him to make her think he chose to do this and then set it up for her to find it. Yeah, I think you're right. It wasn't really a conscious decision fully since he was drugged. Well, drugged a lot because he went from one drug to they were like, inhale this. And then he gets freaking paralyzed with another drug. So these people like their drugs. Danny is such an interesting character, and I love her journey. It's a movie with a lot of layers to unpack. I truly agree. Cameron, 100%, the cult completely orchestrated the situation. Yeah, I mean, it's so obvious where they're like, he can't come with you, and they just happen to set up the whole thing to happen while she's off in the field, and she, coincidentally comes back right at the end of this whole situation. If we're discussing favorite lines, Mark just kills me. I like that guy has a very red face, and somebody should tell those girls they're walking stupid. Those were kind of funny. He was ridiculous. Hence why they gave him that jester's hat when he burned, when his husk burned. I mean, it's extremely disturbing that Pele and the cult are using this trauma and pain to essentially manipulate her into going with them, regardless of whether or not the cult believes in it. Yeah, I do think that is disturbing. I do think Pele sees this very early on, and as soon as it's said that she's going, I think he sees the potential right then, like that she could be a part of the community. He even tells her, like, out of everybody, I was the most excited about you coming. Yeah, B, because she's vulnerable. Not only that, but do you guys think he has some kind of romantic interest in her? Because he did kiss her. The sacrificial Harga have been told, oh, you won't feel fear or pain. But in that moment, I think they discover that it's all fundamentally been lies and manipulation to make them do what they want. So yeah, in the end, those people who volunteered to be sacrificed or burned, they're like, oh shit. I feel like that last moment you see them, they're kind of like, uh-oh, what did I get myself into? Why did I volunteer for this? I think you're right, Sharky. 100%. Anyone wonder if Josh went to the good place? As far as Christian, I agree that it was SA. I think he consented to having relations with when he was in Siv's house. So he intended to do it, but then he was drugged and he had not agreed to do it or to being watched and touched by other Harga members. That is true. The ableism is definitely no accident. The Harga are an insular white supremacist cult, hence all the Nazi-associated runes. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Oh my God, yes. The elder gave them something that he said would keep them from feeling pain. He lied. Yeah, because the dude was screaming his ass off. Christian is so narcissistic, I hate him. Christian is the absolute worst and also was a victim at the end of the film with the SA, which I think really makes the film so compelling. Bad things happen to bad people, but it's not okay. I think the film reads you as much as you analyze it. A lot about a person can be said by how they interpret the film, i.e. excusing ableism or SA in terms of discussing the cult. Danny also isolates herself when she's experiencing trauma. She doesn't feel safe in expressing emotions in front of Christian, so she flees connection until the Harga make her stay by literally like getting on the floor and like holding her. Yes, I agree with that as well. It was fun to see him burn up in the bear suit. I'm sorry. Oh, did you guys hear him? Are you going to say hi to everybody? Yeah? Hi. Come here. I don't know if you'll let me, guys. Give me a second. Come here. Where'd you go? I can't see you. Oh, hi. Remember yesterday you liked this? You were fine with this yesterday. Oh, wait, guys, you can't see him. He's not tall enough. I'm sorry, Fizz. He's going to want to get down because he's in an uncomfortable position. Please. I was going to give you butt scratches. He's like, I've had enough. I will not be on camera. Anyway, I tried to show you guys him, but he ran. Where did I leave it off? Let's see. Aaron! I joined late. I think maybe Danny is smiling because the thing she feared the most, her BF leaving her being alone with no one left, has happened and she survived. I like that. I like that idea of why she smiles. The worst thing happened and she came out of it, maybe. I've only seen this movie the one time, so I'm a little fuzzy on some things. This is how cults work. They prey on people who are searching for something, acceptance, support, family love. Exactly. It's like, and that's why it's done so masterfully here, because like you could almost see how it could work. You know what I mean? From her perspective, from the vulnerable person's perspective, knowing everything that she's gone through, knowing the kind of relationship she was currently in, you could almost see how she could feel good about, you know, being accepted by them, even though they are terrible. They are messed up. And they are also selfish. Like Christian was selfish, but just in a different, like, more veiled way. No need to apologize, by the way. Maybe she thinks it's okay because she has a new family now. I do think that's part of it, too. He plays a magnificent douchebag. He does. He really does. I think it's revealing that in the beginning, both Danny and Christian are unhappy in the relationship, but Danny's worried she's too much, while Christian is only worried about changing his mind. I know. I hate Christian. I hate him. While I agree that Christian is a very unlikable character and a narcissist, he's also a guy who was about to end a relationship, but he felt he couldn't after her tragedy. He was checked out. Not an excuse. I'm not defending him. I do understand what you mean, but I think he was kind of lame even before the tragedy happened. Like, I kind of wish I knew even more about their relationship, because while they're at the table, like, out, Christian and his friends, while they're at the table out, before he gets the call where she's crying and find out about the family, you know, we hear little snippets of why he wants to leave, and like he's had this discussion with them before, but it seems like he's been wishy-washy for a long time. So I don't feel really too bad that he felt guilty into staying, because I feel like he was selfishly staying just because of some weird thing that he would regret it. I don't know. I think he's... I just don't like Christian. I don't know. I can't make sense of him. There are some theories that the cult orchestrated the deaths of Danny's family, especially because of how complicated the process would have been. I don't buy this theory, but it's interesting. That is interesting. I will say, it is crazy how she not only, like, you know, you could have said, oh, I'm going to do this with, like, you know, the fumes from a car. Why didn't she just sit in the car and lock herself in the garage? She literally, like, ran this long-ass hose and, like, duct taped it to herself. Like, that does take a while. So to me, it is kind of a extreme suicide. In terms of, like, the planning and the effort that it would have taken to make sure it worked. And also making sure that her parents also were affected by the fumes. I think Paley's kiss is another further act of manipulation. I think so too. Especially because he's kind of been working on her, almost like emphasizing how shitty Christian is, like showing her, like, it's not just you who might be wondering if this is a thing. Like, he's a douche. I think Paley has romantic designs on Danny, in addition to wanting to induct her into the cult. Oh yeah, I'm fine with the murder and him burning in the bear suit. Me too. That part I totally accept. Yes, busy. I think Pele wants to possess Danny more than anything, and that way he's just the next bad boyfriend waiting to happen. I know, right? I'm sorry he was here for so short. Fizz is still a cutie patootie. He is. He's the best. And his little meow. It's the cutest. It might try to... because my mic tries to cancel out background noise. I don't know if you could even hear his meows in the background, but they were so cute. They were like, they're so little. I think in a sense, Esther is definitely depending on an audience member's reaction to complete the movie in a sense. Christian, awful as he is, doesn't deserve what happens. Notice how Danny is the one chosen as May Queen, not Connie. Also, Christian is chosen as a mate for Maja. I think Mark was actually used to impregnate the girl who he went off with before he was killed, I'm guessing. Oh, yeah. Josh, Simon, and Connie, the visitors who were of color, were not part of the mating. The Harga are totally white supremacists for sure. Oh, shit. That's true. I just thought it was because of the more extreme reaction Connie and her boyfriend had, but that makes sense. That makes more sense. Especially when you give the background of the runes, which I didn't really know. Wow, you guys are adding so many great layers. That's why I love shit like this. This is what I live for. Okay. Danny's revenge is not really a girl power moment. If anything, it is an example of her surrendering her humanity and individuality to the group. I know. I'm not trying to justify him being killed. I do think it is sad, like I said, especially once you think and realize that she's just wound up in another abusive, manipulative relationship where, in a way, just like how she kept apologizing to Christian, you could almost say that's like kind of submissive, trying to be, placating and, never wanting to rile anybody up. I feel like she's going to end up being the same way with the Hargas because, do what they say, be a part of the community, follow their traditions, which is just like another, form of rules. I think Pele knows how bad Christian treated her and used the wound to draw her in further. I really wonder if there was any true feelings involved. It's hard to discern with how manipulative it is. Yes, agree. It is hard to tell. He was drawing her, though, even at the table, and I don't think he even gave her that drawing where she was May Queen. I didn't even know that. Oh, I gotta even look at this. See, I can't wait to watch this again and maybe notice even more details. Do not see it as good for her. When Christian is getting turned into barbecue, was Danny still on drugs? I can't remember if the flower was still pulsing or any of the flowers were pulsing because it is the next day, right? That's actually a good question. I don't think she was. If she was, we didn't know. I think the problem with Christian is that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. He feels guilty breaking up with her and stays with her, but he makes her even more miserable because of it. He needed to be a crabby boyfriend for it all to work out. True. The film also does a disservice to mental illness. Vilifying bipolar disorder is not okay. As someone diagnosed with mental illness and a fan of horror, this is nothing new. But it still sucks that it's a common trope. Man, you should see how many typos. If you were worried about just saying in a sentence twice, I say a lot of things and I just mistype it because I type so fast. It's one of those things where he doesn't have the stones to do what's right for him and for Danny, and instead treats her like shit, I guess in hopes of it'll collapse on its own. I think he keeps thinking that, like, she's going to leave him because he even says that shot where they're all on the couch and you only see her from the mirror, like, on the wall behind the couch, which I thought was a great shot, very interesting shot. Like, she's very separate from them. I feel like even then, what was I even trying to say? Oh, before she came in, he said, I said she could go, but she's not going. I mean, she said she's going to go, but she's not going. So, like, what does he think? That she's going to break up with him? That they're going to break up before then? Or he's going to convince her not to go? Like, why does he say that so adamantly at that point? So I'm thinking, he maybe thought that she would take care of it. This could be very astute observation, considering he didn't know about his thesis until, he kind of had to latch on to, what was his name, Rob? The other guy's thesis. The same thesis, essentially. He's a narcissist, but also a coward. I don't think it's too mean. Regarding the way Danny's sister killed the family / herself, I find it interesting that it's illustrated in the tapestry at the beginning with a red line severed in some places, which reminds me of the red string theory or other things related to soul connections, whether that be familial or romantic. I didn't look much into this observation, though. I am going to have to look more into that because that is fascinating. That is very fascinating. That would almost add fuel to the fire that they orchestrated it. But that would take a lot for that to happen, right? I think this is what Aster is doing on purpose. I think we somewhat designed to think Christian got his comeuppance, and then he indicts us as an audience a bit. I think it's brilliant. I think it's great too. I feel like her sister might have also been kind of a narcissistic, and setting up the murder suicide the way she did was just one last way to devastate Danny. Narcissists always need the last word. True. Danny's the blonde, blue-eyed, perfect Aryan candidate for the Harga to try and trade wife. Oh my gosh. Oh no. More so actual analysis and critique. Oh wait, hold on. Sorry. I definitely need to rewatch this because I have a lot of gut emotional reactions to a lot of this movie, more so than actual analysis and critique of it. I like your analysis. I mean, I like your emotional reactions. Also about Paley's drawings, when he gives Danny the first one, he says he draws them specifically for birthdays. Then he proceeds to draw one after she wins May Queen, symbolizing her rebirth. That's genius. I didn't even notice that either. You can also tell that Pele has a distaste for most Americans. I can't blame him by some of the things he says. When Christian asks him if anyone can join the dance, Pele says, "You're an American. Just jam yourself in there." Yeah, that's true. This is such a dark movie. Oh, yes, it is. And that also reminds me about "You're an American, just jam yourself in there." I did read an article that said that a lot of not only is it about relationships, but it's also about, American and us kind of trying to stamp out other cultures and appropriate other cultures, and it's like always us versus the other. And you could see that throughout the film in a lot of ways, including that line you're quoting right there, Jen. But there's even more. Let's see what it says here. They had some really great examples. I got to see which one it was in. Yeah, the other, a foreign society that has very different and seemingly abnormal rules, behaviors, and traditions than the 21st century friend group is used to. But as we continue, Americans become increasingly othered. They are the outsiders, and their culture surely seems just as bizarre to the Hargas. It should be noted that while Danny, easily the most disturbed of the group, still remains respectful of them, while two of Christian's friends increasingly upset the balance of the community. One attempts to photograph the Hargas religious texts, and one urinates on the tree that is sacred. These men are the portrait of American entitlement and obvious tourists. Mark, much more blatantly so with his careless, cocky attitude, but even Josh, too, with his self-serving intentions behind his curiosity about the Hargas. It's reminiscent of the greed and selfishness of American history and our pattern of taking from others, culturally appropriating and disrupting Native communities' ways of life, always eager to be the first to discover and leaving a path of chaos in our wake. So I love that. That is from an article called "Examining the Beautiful Madness of Midsommar" by from August 2019. And this article had some really great observations and analysis. I think one of the really interesting questions is, how often are the Harga drugging all of them? We know they don't have any problem slipping a little something into people's drinks. I know, right? Oh, symbolism of reflection is just such a big thing. I'd love to hear people talk about. Mirrors are used constantly in the US scenes, and then in Sweden, it's mostly the Harga members physically reflecting one another by, mirroring their sounds and actions. Yes. That is a great thing that we could expand upon. What do you guys feel the mirror symbolism is? Especially, when Danny is shown through the mirror. You could say it's to make her feel apart from the group, but Christian comes over and stands with her, and you could kind of see a little bit of him in the mirror too. But or maybe that she's looking at things from the other side of the mirror, like a different lens than the others, perhaps. Or the friends are looking at things through a different lens than she is. I don't know. That would be fascinating to dive into. This conversation has already made me want to raise my score for the movie. Mark is the worst depiction of an American tourist. I know. Even with the mountain sacrifice, Christian made an interesting point to Danny about how the Harga might view the way we as Americans treat our older people. Yeah, and that's the part where I was like, well, that is kind of true. Like, the way she was painting it was like, you could see how someone, especially someone who was kind of vulnerable, would buy into that, you know? Vulnerable emotionally. I took notes when I rewatched today, and I have so many random things I want to bring up. Please bring them up. I want to hear them. For example, when Danny understands / speaks Swedish during the dance, is that just the drugs, or is it genuinely some sort of magical demonic thing going on? That is a great question. I also was like, is she really speaking that right then? Or is it like the drugs? Or I thought maybe she did kind of catch some words and she was like somehow already assimilating into their like culture quickly. Like she was kind of almost like predisposed to fit in very well there somehow in terms of like how her brain's adapting. It's interesting, the theme of detaching and detachment in the movie as well, like the crying baby whose mother is away and the detachment. Yeah, and you never see the baby in the scenes where it's crying. Also the detachment of, you know, the gas from the car being the thing that kills her. It's like, you know, it's technically attached with the hose, but it's coming from somewhere else. The detachment in the relationships, and the final detachment. I skipped some, so sorry. I feel like there's a lot of commentary on tribalism, like the men are perfect representations of the ugly Americans trope, but the Hargra are also reenacting problematic cultural practices, going out Viking and stealing resources, sacrifices women, etc. Well, even you could say even sperm. In a way, they stole, I would say they stole Christian sperm. And they might have stole Mark's sperm by tempting him to be with that girl right before they killed him. I like what you're thinking. Like she's rapidly learning it because she's like somehow meant to be there. Yes, almost like her brain is more apt to attune to their culture. Almost like, again, she's like somehow destined for there. If you're like trying to think of it in like a grand, crazy, cosmic scheme of things kind of way. If the tapestry is to be believed, where the tapestry shows kind of what happened to Danny's family, that almost makes it seem like to have a cosmic element to it. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking way too much into it, but in the fight after the party, Christian is reflected in the mirror. He's projecting on Danny, and he twists everything she says to make her think she is the one who's in the wrong. And I hate that part. That part makes me so mad. Oh my God. Can you even imagine learning that your boyfriend is going away for like a month and a half in like 2 weeks at a party? Oh my God. And he's just like trying to make you feel bad? Like, what the frick? I think Danny is still drugged when she thinks she is speaking Swedish. It's part of the surrealism of the scene. It's just so specifically weird. Like a lot of the trippy things that happen are genuinely what it feels like on shrooms, but they don't make you know how to speak other languages. I think Danny is drugged, and her understanding Swedish is also a representation of how she's being assimilated. Also, I just think how she's accepted being their May Queen, somehow understanding their language. I think it's like maybe her brain's way of like accepting everything. I just love all this. This is like what I live for. This breaking down of everything. I really do love it. Another connection between Midsommar and Hereditary, according to this article I was just referencing a few minutes ago, is that they're both heavily matriarchal, with much of the fear rooted in family and relationship dynamics, trauma, and grief. And note that both movies feature a scene in which a woman is hunched over, sobbing at the loss of a family member, while their significant other tries helplessly to comfort them. And both Midsommar and Hereditary put women and their experiences at the forefront of the story. Men literally burn in both movies, but Midsommar takes this a step further as we see the unraveling and emasculation of Christian as the story unfolds. Yeah. I wanted to German suplex Christian in that gaslighting scene at the party. I could feel my blood pressure raising. I know. I hated that part so much. It's like so hard to feel bad for Christian when he's burning in the bear suit because of all that stuff. It really is. Now, I'm not saying you deserve to burn, but That sounded evil, oh my god. And there's that great moment, why are you wearing that stupid bear suit? And he answers, why are you wearing that stupid bear suit? Oh wait, I'm thinking of our last movie discussion, Donnie Darko. That is so funny. And there is a lot of bear symbolism in the movie. If like I said, I kind of mentioned there's an art print of a bear. I think it's in Danny's apartment, if I remember correctly. There's also you could see the bear back when it was alive in the cage when they first get there. And then, of course, the bear suit later. And, bears being on the tapestries as well. I also have a lot to say about symbolism relating to breathing. There are so many moments where this is highlighted. The way the family dies, the weird breath thing the Harga do, the trees. Even if you want to analyze Danny, she's constantly having these panic attacks where she's, like, breathing, like, exaggerated. Like, she can't breathe normally or calmly. And I think that kind of plays into everything too. So there must be a lot of stuff to do with breathing. The trees breathing, the flowers breathing on her crown, Danny blowing out the candle. There are so many examples. Give us all of your symbolism notes for real. The leader of the Harga is Siv, a woman, and it's women that surround Christian and Maha as they do the deed. I agree with Mike so much. Christian's greatest flaws are his absolute cowardice and his sniveling, weaselly, passive aggression. Agree. Nah, you can say it. He deserved to burn. Thanks for not making me feel bad. Oh, God. He deserved to. Because I'm all like, here, like, yeah. And everyone's like, Kelsey, you should not think that it's good that he burns. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I mean, I don't really think it's good that somebody burns, but he's just a character. There are also multiple scarecrows in the beginning of the movie. I didn't even see that. Oh my god, that probably does have a lot of symbolism. It feels like a movie like The Shining, in which you feel like the art production of the movie is very purposeful, especially when you see that bear painting. It's like he's got to be orchestrating, the director. He's got to be orchestrating things in the background on purpose. So to me, I feel like there's a lot more symbolism that I haven't even caught in the background. There's a lot of probably Easter eggs that I probably haven't even realized. Absolutely, he shrinks behind his passive aggression because he cannot face the things he has done or take any goddamn accountability. The movie opens with snow and closes with fire. Oh, I love that, the yin and yang. Again, really just another example of how different the first part in America is in terms of, like, not only the season, snow, also the color and the lighting and the tones, to how different it is when they're finally in Sweden. Wizard of Oz. It's also almost like a Wizard of Oz transformation. Like, back in America with the darker tones, it's like Kansas. And when they go to Sweden, it all becomes topsy-turvy like the Wizard of Oz. Almost like not really real-like. But also, Wizard of Oz, Christian has no courage, Mark has no brain, Josh has no heart. That is really amazing. I love that observation. I read an article that the 4 sub-characters' deaths each represent a different element. For example, Simon is air because of the thing with his lungs. Josh is earth because it's where he's buried. Mike, it's specifically a painting of the scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz that's in the apartment. So that's basically a confirmation. Hell yeah. I love this. Mike, you remember the movie very well for only seeing it once. I'm impressed. I've seen it twice and I don't remember much at all. And the cult is the wizard, Jen. Such a good observation. Looks all nice from the outside, but is on the interior all a show. Yes. Oh my god, I love that. Yes. And it also works with the America being like black and white and like this Oz being this colorful whatever. But again, it's part of the show. I love this. I freaking love this. This is what I live for. I'm sorry I keep saying that. I love discussing movies. I know it was said earlier, but I love the way Aster contrasts the bright and vividness of the color. What should feel comforting is almost eerie and is shattered by explosions of verbal and physical violence. Yes! I think what gets me about the end, the same with Wicker Man, is the happiness and almost normalcy of the people committing the sacrifice. It's not evil, it's natural, like, it's for the communal good. Like, there's a lot of justification to them. like this is totally fine. There's nothing wrong here. It's a part of their life. It's a tradition, or it's natural, as you said. Yeah, again. But like, I love how the movie is a lot from Danny's perspective, so that you could almost see how that becomes something appealing. Like, because if you were looking at it from just a normal person, I'm sorry, not normal, a non-traumatized person's perspective, you wouldn't see how somebody could be fooled by that, by what was going on. But from Danny's perspective, you could actually see how she could feel that this was a place for her, feel accepted, feel loved even, and not manipulated. So you could actually see it. So I kind of like that, because I never felt like that with like The Wicker Man. For instance, I've never felt like anyone could just accept it. But to me, like from Danny's perspective, I could see how specifically she, in her circumstances, would think it was better than what was going on in her life back in America and with Christian, yada yada, and that it would be better to burn and to be with this new kind of manipulative relationship than with that one, because at least she felt understood and seen, and like she didn't have to hide. But again, it's just another form of negative abuse. Danny finally has a home, quote, like Dorothy, there's no place like home. It's so genius. Holy shit. Oh my god, totally pay no attention to the man/cult behind the curtain. Thank you, Melissa. It's such a vivid film that while some of the intricacies of the plot are a little fuzzy, I can very much remember the moments that viscerally affected me. Thank God there was no Toto, because I wouldn't trust that cult with a pupper. Holy shit, if a dog or a cat would have died, I would have rioted. I would have burned the cult to the ground myself. Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my god, holy shit, this Wizard of Oz thing is amazing. The bear was Toto. No! Pele was Toto? I feel like the scene with the Hargo women surrounding Danny is an interesting depiction of abuse. They seem like they're empathizing with her because they're mimicking her emotions, but they're actually comforting her for hurt they have inflicted, aka Abuser 101. That is very, very true, but from Danny's perspective, she doesn't see it that way, because she doesn't think it was orchestrated. She's just, I guess, not thinking that it was orchestrated. Toto would have been a great boyfriend, Jen. Take that back. That's a funny observation. I'm not actually mad. It's a very powerful thing to have people share your pain. It's very powerful to suddenly belong when you've been feeling detached from everything and everyone. Pele is both Glenda, the Good Witch, and the Wicked Witch of the West. Holy shit. And the bear is Toto. I always pronounce Toto as Toto. Was I just pronouncing it that way? Toto. No, that is kind of with a D. I don't. Toto. Sorry, it's weird saying it with the sharp second T. Africa by Toto. It's like by Toto. They bless the rains down in Africa. Toto, from the Wizard of Oz. That I tried to look up that exact dog from the original Wizard of Oz, and I was like, I love you. Oh, that's such a cute looking dog. When he gets in her basket, and how he gets in the basket and hides and stuff. He's so cute. Anyway, I don't know why I'm going on and on about Toto. I like saying it like that. Toto. I want to do a double feature with this and the movie Pearl, because they are both super Wizard of Oz focused. I do need to see Pearl. You told me that's the best one of that trilogy, right? Isn't it the one you say you like the best? I'll have to check that one out. I cannot wait to watch this movie again, but with the director's cut. How much longer is the director's cut? Do you remember, Andrew? I did that song a cappella in choir in high school. Yes! For the double feature. One thing that stood out to me on this rewatch was how much the movie styled Pele to look like Charles Manson, whose cult was also white supremacist. Now that you say that, the color of his hair, the length of his hair. Yes, in every way. Holy shit, yes. So you think that was done purposely? Because I could see that. Oh my god. I love Pearl. Pearl is perfection. That is alliteration. I have only seen the director's cut. Maya Goth is so brilliant in Pearl. She should have been nominated for an Oscar. I googled it earlier. It adds 24 minutes. The director's cut is 171 minutes. Don't know how that compares to theatrical. Agreed, Bobby. I think the director's cut is about 25 minutes longer than the theatrical. And yeah, I think I watched the theatrical last night. I don't know my first watch if it was the director's cut or not, though. Toto in the book is so cute, too. He's always confused about what's going on and barking at everything. There are illustrations of him where he just looks pissed. You make me want to read those old school Oz books every time you talk about them. I have to watch your latest Patreon video. I'm going to save it for next time I'm doing, like, either the elliptical or the treadmill, but lately I've been distracted by my crafting. And I have not been watching as much booktube videos. I've been watching these ridiculous freaking crafting videos. It's like, do I really need another hobby at this point? What am I doing? But I am going down this glue book rabbit hole of arts and crafts stuff. But anyway, the original is 147 minutes. I think that's the one I watched last night. So sorry. Speaking of crafting, you guys, since this is out, my new Summerween print. I'm going to use this as a page in a journal. Let me show you without the plastic. My next goal is to make my own junk journal. Although I don't really know what I'm going to fill it up with and if it's going to look good. I really don't know if I have the talent to make a book like that look good, like I've seen other people's. But anyway, look at it. And it's just like a repeating pattern, but it's from Kia Creates, and I'm a part of her Patreon channel now because I really like her art and stuff. Anyway, Kia Creative Club. That's her Patreon. She does the coolest junk journals, and she's got a Halloween journaling challenge that I kind of want to do for Halloween, for Halloween-a-thon. I still need to see Aster's newest movie, Beau is Afraid, with his big nuts. Oh, that looks super cute. It is a cute little, I love it. Yes, Kia Creates on Etsy, but it does ship from the UK, so shipping might be kind of expensive. But I got a lot more other, not speak English correctly, please. I got a lot of other things from her shop, not just that. I got these great sticker sheets that are all like Dark Carnival and circus themed, and I got it because I do the Carnival Patreon only readathon watchathon for a week in September, and I'm doing that again. So I'm planning ahead for September. I'm like, these stickers will be great for September. Anyway, that's me always thinking freaking months ahead for no reason at all. I did get one sheet of Summerween stickers though too. Sorry, the light's making it not as crisp as it should be. Another interesting thing is in the scene where Christian is telling the guys he invited Danny, one of the books they're reading is about the Nazi usage of runes. I didn't even realize that. That pattern is hype for Summerween. Yes, I love it too. You guys should check her out on Instagram. Her journaling, like shorts or reels or whatever you want to call them, are great. Oh my God. I am obsessed with Beau is Afraid. It's not for everyone, but I loved it so much. I'm going to have to watch it. UK shipping to Canada is cheaper than US, which makes no sense considering, you know, the ocean, but whatevs. Yeah, what the hell's up with that? I love the Wizard of Oz books too. My most successful play is set in Oz. I really, really want to read those books after I always hear Cameron talking about them recently. It makes them sound really great. You should watch Bright Eyes, an old Shirley Temple movie. It also has the dog. It has that dog? I should watch that. I freaking love that dog. Like, I used to want that dog. Like, that, well, I couldn't have that dog, but I wanted that breed of dog. Back when I always loved the Wizard of Oz as a kid. In my 8-year-old bedroom, I had a Wizard of Oz poster. Cannot wait for the next Carnival Clown Sprints, the best sprints of the year. I gotta find my clown makeup. I don't know where I put it. But yes, it is the best sprints. And what will I do for my spread? You know, have pictures of us as clowns again, I guess. But what else will I do? I wanted to catch it in theaters. I need to catch up before Eddington. Esther is so good. I adored Hereditary too. And strange thing about the Johnsons. I also love Beau is Afraid. I have not seen that yet. I think it's crazy how much Midsommar really sticks with you. This was only my second time, and yet it somehow conveyed so much to me. Same with me. It was only my second time, and I was like, this is such a mess. I mean, I thought that the first time I watched it, that it was a masterpiece. The Oz books are so cozy and dark and funny and charming and weird. I'm going to be reading book 6 soon. That is so exciting. I'm so glad you've gone down that rabbit hole. Honk, honk. Clown Drew, honk, honk. I can't do it good, but you know, kind of. I can kind of do it. Of course, Pedro Pascal is in the new Aster movie. Oh, you don't have to sell me anything else. Oh, yes, Pedro. I've only seen it the once, but throughout this convo, so much came back to me for better or for worse. Yeah, I had been procrastinating watching it or rewatching it for a long time. And last night at the end, I was like, oh, I'm so melancholy now. Like, I need to watch something else. So I did watch some ASMR before sleep, and it was so relaxing. And I was like, I need this. I need this. And it was so great because she had like this heart shape. The lady I was watching, her name's the Rainbow Veil. And she was like scooping like bad parts out of your aura. But the way she was doing it and then like snapping the stuff out, I was like, oh, it's so relaxing. I got tingles. The Strange Thing About the Johnsons is incredible. I haven't seen that either. L. Frank Baum's 14 are my favorites. OMG, that movie is so messed up. We can't talk about Midsommar without mentioning Christian's special meat pie and his bloody drink. Oh, I know! I can't believe it. Special meat pie. Pubes. Pubes. I like how he knew it was pubes. He was like, yeah, it's a pube. I knew nothing about it going in, and it freaked me out. It's like nuclear effed up. Holy shit, you guys are making me want to watch it, but also making me scared. The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, man, I've ruined some people's lives by telling them to watch it. You guys are making me so intrigued I cannot not watch it. The Destruction of the Nuclear Family in the most effed up way possible. Oh my god. I'm scared. I'm scared now. I don't want to cut our discussion short, so I'm going to call, but I have to because my throat's hurting. I didn't finish my sentence before I was about to go on, but the rest of that sentence will be, I want to give you guys an opportunity to say any other observations or thoughts you would like to share before we sign off. And I would love to just keep going forever, but like I said, like my throat is like killing me, and I drank all my Kool-Aid before we started. So yeah, there was one little drop in there that I had, so that was good, but I need more. Anyway, so we can't talk forever, but I think this is a movie that I could benefit from watching again. Benefit's kind of a strong word. I could find a lot of fun new things, disturbing new things, whatevs, to talk about the next time I watch it, especially if I watch the director's cut. So yeah. Everyone knows pubes are better in chili, not freaking meat pies. Come on, get your stuff together. I forgot about the pube pie. I'm glad I watched The Strange Thing About the Johnsons once, but I will never watch it again. That is like freaking, what's that movie that I hate? Andrew, what do you remember? I've talked about it to you before. But the drugs. I hate that. I will never watch that movie again. So if that is like that, like that's crazy that it's in that category. The Strange Thing About the Johnsons is like, do I keep saying Joneses? The strange thing about the Johnsons is like a perfect example of Aster is one of his earliest projects so messed up. I knew you'd know it. Yes, Requiem for a Dream. Thank you. Of course you knew it. Bam. I knew you'd know. Which is all based on, hold on, I'm skipping things, but pubes distracted me. Just forget it. Which is all based on real folk magic beliefs for love spells. Also, talk about yet another way the Harga took away Christian's ability to consent. I know, right? Menstrual blood is powerful. You figured it out. You got it. Requiem for a Dream is incredible. They made us watch that in health class. Oh my god. If my health class made me watch that, I'd freaking leave school. I watched it on my own accord, but I will never, ever watch it again. All I can see is double Never mind. That part's disturbing. Where they're on the table at the end. Oh my god, I hate that part so much. I hate it so much. Anyway. The strange thing about the Johnsons is bonkers crazy. You guys are making me so intrigued. Pubes distracted me ass to ass. That's what I'm saying. How'd you know that's part? That's what she isn't saying, but that was what I was alluding to, and you knew that. That part really just disturbed me. But the old lady part where she had to get the tube because she couldn't eat anymore, that part, oh my god, dead. No. No. I will never watch it again, ever. 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 Connolly had it rough in that movie. Yes. Oh my god. I used to do a stand-up routine about that Requiem scene. Oh my god. The pubes distracted me. Yeah, that's kind of a weird sentence that I said that. Whatevs. Just let's ignore it. The final scene of Requiem made me so profoundly sad. I know! It's so heartbreaking, but also really disturbing. I'm like no! No! Anyway, let's just not talk about it. It's horrible. I forgot actually that it was asses. But anyway, it's even worse. Okay. Whatever. Very disturbing. I know! What the hell is wrong with that dude? Oh my god. Yes, brilliant, but I ain't never watching it again. Never. Like, Midsommar is disturbing and hauntingly sad, but it's not like Requiem for a Dream, in which that I will never watch it again. I still hated Mother, though. I have not seen Mother. That's been on my list, like my Halloween watch list for like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, a long time. A long time. I can't remember how many years, but quite a while. All right, guys, get your last thoughts in. We're going into, I'm going to do a 5-minute warning, just because I'm getting hot in this sweatshirt, too, because now the ice cube effect has worn off. But I freaking loved this whole discussion so far. I am so glad that you all were here because there's so many observations that I wouldn't have had that you guys brought to the table that really just makes the discussion richer, but it makes the next time I'm going to watch the movie, it's going to make it even better. So I really thank you guys for bringing the freaking banger observations today, for sure. I like Mother. Thank you so much for hosting this. It's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed these movie chats. I actually am enjoying this more than my book club book chats. It's kind of weird. Like, is this a bad sign? I enjoy doing my other book content more, but I enjoyed the live movie chats more than live book chats. Because I was thinking, should I even do a live book discussion for my last month's book, which I did really like. And I think there is a lot to talk about. It was called The Scream by Skip Inspector. Was it The Scream or Scream? Where's the paperback? Where'd I put you, little devil? I think it's just Scream. Anyway, it's by Skip Inspector, and there is a lot you can break down about it. But I'm like, do we really need a discussion of it? I was like, I don't know. It's not like as rich in like discussion elements as this, like things that you could analyze as deeply as this. Final Midsommar thought. I think its ending mirrored The Wicker Man in a deconstructed way. Christian got burnt, but Danny is the real sacrifice. That is an amazing observation. I love that. I'm glad you enjoy Mother. Well said. Very well said. Thanks for the discussion. Very insightful. Good night, Melissa. Thank you for hanging. I love you. Yeah, Sharky. My last thought is thank you for such a great discussion and meetup. This was outstanding. Thank you for being a part of it and for knowing my thoughts about that movie that I couldn't remember. Also, on a lighter note, Mark cracked me up after he did the shroom. I don't want new people. I need everybody to lay down with me. Like, that part is really funny, and how he was like, there's a new guy coming. I'm not ready for new guys. This discussion has been so awesome. You guys made it that way, truly. Thank you, Jen. I'm so glad you were here. I appreciate you so much. If anyone has any more, I don't want anyone to feel like they didn't get to say as much as they wanted. Like, Ash, if you've got more you want to say, you could always go to the Discord in the Midsommar chat everyone feel free to still like put observations if something comes to you later and you're dying to share it. I'm still keeping up with all the channels, even of the past movies. If there's a new message, I'll see the alert. So I will read your message and see your observation or your new piece of analysis. If you have something that strikes you, don't feel like you can't share it just because we already had a discussion. You can still share it. You can still share it. I appreciate all of you so much. If anyone has any articles for further reading or videos breaking things down that you want to share, I'd love to see links to those too. Please share again in the Discord on the Midsommar channel. I would love to read more about it. Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you for being here. I know what you meant. You're the best. I still have to finish the Scream, but I'm always down to overanalyze media. I just don't know, like, is there enough people to warrant a chat? For some reason, I always make some excuse, like, maybe we shouldn't do the movie chat, but I'm kind of up for it. I did really like that movie. Not movie. Why do you keep calling things movies? I did really like that book. It was a favorite book of last month. Super great chat. Thank you for being here, Crystal. Can't wait to rewatch with some of these insights. I know, I'm really actually excited to watch it for a third time after we've had this discussion. And I might even rewatch this before I watch it next time. This was so much fun. Thank you for the live. My soul needed it. I loved seeing you here. I missed you so much. And next time I miss you, I'm going to watch your latest picture on video so I could get my soul rejuvenated too. When is the discussion for Deer Hunter again? I want to actually watch the damn movie this time. When in doubt, so the Deer Hunter is the movie for this month, but the discussion will always be the month after the month of the movie. So it'll be either in the second or the third week of July. I had to think about the months. I was like, what month are we in? So it's the movie for June, the Deer Hunter, for those of you who want to come next time and discuss next time. I will say the Deer Hunter is another long one, just like Midsommar. It's another slow burn. It's another very disturbing movie with very disturbing themes, including themes of self-harm, gun violence. So there's a lot that could be upsetting. Of course, themes of war, because it takes place during the Vietnam War. So just so that you guys are warned, it's a super, super heavy movie, but it's so well acted, and it's really one of my favorite dramatic movies ever. I do have a poster. It's kind of up where you guys can't see it, but I'm going to move it now that I've already had this discussion. I'm going to switch places. Well, I don't really want it behind me on my videos because it's Robert De Niro with like a gun to his head, and that's kind of explicit. So maybe I shouldn't have that behind me in the background, but I feel like no one can see it where it is right now. But I have a Italian Deer Hunter poster, and it says Il Cacciatore. I think it's Italian. Yes, I believe. Anyway, that will take place. The discussion for the Deer Hunter will take place either in the second week of July or the third week. I had to release a video on this channel last week, so that's why it wasn't the second week. Like, I usually try to make it in the second week. But you still have plenty of time, Mike. Thank you so much for this chat, Kelsey. I've been loving chatting about movies with you all. I could talk about stuff like this forever, so don't get me going again. Please, I encourage you to share more in the Discord. If you want to keep sharing your notes, I am down to read your notes. Like, trust me, I'm not exaggerating. I literally live for this. If my throat wasn't hurting so bad right now, I would continue. I don't care about how long I go for, but it's just that my throat's hurting and I feel like I can't. It's so funny how the guys push for the shrooms, but they were the ones who had a bad trip and then, subsequently caused Danny's bad trip. I really want to watch the director's cut. Me too. The Deer Hunter is another 3-hour one. I'm sorry to keep picking long movies, but the Deer Hunter is worth it if you can get past like the exposition slow burn, but that's there for a reason. Think like The Godfather, how you have that whole marriage set up in the beginning, which is kind of long and drawn out. Same thing with the Deer Hunter. There's a long marriage scene and then a hunting scene, and that really sets up for like all the horrific stuff to come afterwards and like the really heavy, impactful and emotional stuff to come afterwards. So just be patient, give the movie a chance, because I know not everyone likes slow burns, but Deer Hunter rocks and is part of a very important story in my own life. I cannot wait to hear more about this story of your life. I hope you tell us about it. It is violent and brutal, but the acting is so good. Oh my God. I'm so happy I finally got to come to one of these discussions. Me too. And you added so much to it, truly. I'm so glad you were here. Christopher Walken won an Oscar for that one, and deservedly so. I haven't watched it since I was in high school. I actually haven't either. I think that was the last time. Maybe I was in early college, but that's still a long time ago. My dad actually was like, "This movie is great. Watch it." What kind of dads are like, watch this freaking really intense, heavily, like, emotionally damaging movie? But I'm glad he did, because he introduced me to a great movie. Also, little tidbit, it was important in my life in that I discovered I loved Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, the band. If you didn't know who they were, I discovered I loved them after watching that movie, because there's a Frankie Valli song that's kind of like a big part of the movie when the friends are bonding before they go off to war. And I freaking love that song. It was the first time I ever heard that song, and I was like, I want this song. And I just became a huge fan of Frankie Valli after that. Don't have that behind in your background until live, because YouTube, I know, right? I know. I'm not going to put it behind me. I'll just keep it where it is, because I could still see it every day. I've never seen The Deer Hunter, but it's so enjoyable to talk to you all about movies that I'll definitely have to watch it so I can participate. I have every movie listed now. I went in today and I was like, I'm going to create all the channels now. So I'm not waiting until the last minute to where half the month is gone and the channel's not even made. So if you guys watch the movies early, you can still share your thoughts. All the channels are made for the rest of the entire year now. So you have every channel. Even if you watch stuff early, you can share whatever you think. Oh, good. I'm so excited to see what you think. Yay, and you're going to take notes. This makes me so happy. My dad is a huge fan of The Pawnbroker and devastated me with that one. I've got to watch that. I've never seen that one. All right, guys, I want to thank you once again for being here. These discussions would not be the same without you. You really make it as rich as it is, and I appreciate it so very much. If anyone's watching after the fact, thank you so much as well. I appreciate any and all watches, and if you could please leave a like, share it with friends who might love this movie as much as we love talking about it, that would be great. But for this time, that is it for me. I will see you guys soon. I love you guys. Oh, good. I can't wait to watch this video essay. I'll probably go watch that next. Thank you, Mike. And thank you, everybody, so much. You added so much, and I appreciate you. Good night. Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. Good night.